Upon hearing that she would have to marry a Muslim, Joanna gasped in disbelief. As a Christian princess raised in the traditions of the English court, she could hardly imagine such a thing. Her brother, King Richard the Lionheart, looked at her questioningly. Did this mean her opinion would be taken into account? Or was this merely a gesture of politeness, with everything already decided? Princess Joanna steeled herself. She needed to speak up. She was born in October, at the beginning of the 12th century, in Angers. The seventh child of Eleanor of Aquitaine and King Henry II, the princess spent much of her youth in Poitiers and Winchester. Joanna could not say which she preferred more, the continental lands of her family or the misty island. She had a light-hearted and cheerful disposition, always finding the silver lining wherever she went. She was only 3 years old when her father began making marriage plans. All the daughters of the Plantagenet family were expected to marry advantageously, thus securing the dynasty's power. There was no question of love matches or random choices. Marriages were meticulously arranged. Joanna was to be betrothed to the King of Sicily, and everything was nearly settled when the Pope intervened. The issue was that Joanna's father, the English king, had been excommunicated. This story has little to do with the princess's wedding, so we won't dwell on it. Suffice it to say that the marriage plans fell through. There could be no engagements, let alone church weddings, after such a scandal. Disappointed Sicilians returned home. Fortunately for everyone, a compromise was soon reached with the papacy and negotiations resumed. The ambassadors of King William II of Sicily arrived in London to formally request the hand of the English king's daughter. A delightful creature, strikingly similar to her mother, Joanna charmed everyone. The Sicilians beamed at the sight of her. So young, graceful, and elegant. Yet there was a sense of strength about her. No, a whole framework. A true daughter of a king and a worthy future queen. The engagement was set for mid-May, and in August, the princess was taken to Palermo, where she was to meet her future husband. The wedding was not surrounded by the grandeur Joanna was accustomed to at her father's court. Rather, it resembled an intimate family celebration, but it had its own charm. The young king looked happy, and his newly minted wife was equally joyful. She loved everything: the bright sun of her new homeland and the golden crown that sparkled in her luxurious hair. The girl queen still had some growing up to do. But what was the rush when they were so young? Joanna cherished each new day. According to witnesses, it was a wonderful time in her life. Her husband adored her, the subjects loved their young queen, and, according to some reports, William and Joanna had welcomed a child. By the age of 17, the English princess had everything a woman could ever dream of. But misfortune arrived all at once, like a storm. First, the little son of the Sicilian queen passed away. Soon after, her husband followed. The king had planned to embark on a crusade, but those plans never materialized. His sudden death left not only the Sicilian kingdom in turmoil, but all of Italy as well. William had earned the nickname the Good for a reason. The new ruler, Tancred, William's cousin, quickly set about establishing his own order. First and foremost, he refused to pay Joanna Plantagenet her rightful widow's share, a substantial allowance that a wife is entitled to if she outlives her husband. Such matters were always outlined in marriage contracts, and the English princess was entitled to a significant sum. Joanna protested, and her brother, the new English king Richard the Lionheart, supported her. He even traveled to Messina for this purpose. Tancred had little choice. He could either persist in his stubbornness and watch the English plunder his lands, or agree to pay Joanna her due. The greedy king had to concede and signed an agreement with Richard and Joanna, compensating the princess for her rightful inheritance. To ensure closer cooperation, Tancred promised his daughter in marriage to Richard's nephew. Joanna understood that she would have to leave Italy. Even after the peaceful resolution of the conflict, she was unwilling to coexist with Tancred. An excellent opportunity presented itself. Richard the Lionheart's fiancée, Princess Berengaria of Navarre, arrived in Messina. A wedding was planned, but Richard had already left the city. The bride was to follow him, and Joanna offered to accompany her. This was a timely offer. Berengaria was brought by Joanna's mother, Queen Eleanor. The journey had been difficult for her, and she would have preferred to return home. Years had taken their toll, but it wouldn't be appropriate to send a noblewoman off alone on a voyage across the Mediterranean Sea, would it? The journey of the two princesses is well documented by historians. They traveled to find Richard, endured shipwreck off the coast of Cyprus, were captured by Emperor Isaac Komnenos, and were ultimately rescued by Richard the Lionheart. The remainder of their journey to Acre went smoothly without major complications. Joanna gazed with interest at the new horizons before her. It was so captivating and so unusual compared to everything she had experienced in her life so far. Little did she know that the most incredible moments were yet to come. King Richard proposed a peace treaty to the eastern ruler Saladin. As a guarantee, he would marry Joanna to Saladin's brother, Aladil, and the newlyweds would jointly rule Jerusalem. It was at this point that Joanna first displayed real determination. She would not marry Aladil, no matter the circumstances. Not even Jerusalem was worth it to her. Richard was taken aback. He hardly recognized his sister. Hadn't she once been a meek and obedient girl? It seemed that in this family, the Lionheart was not the only one with a fierce spirit. After her travels in the East, Joanna returned to France and settled with her mother. Eleanor of Aquitaine was concerned about her daughter's future. Still young, unmarried, and wealthy, Joanna had the potential to find a good husband. The search for a suitable match began immediately, and this time, the princess did not protest. Joanna married Raymond VI, the Count of Toulouse, the most powerful man in southern France. Raymond was doing what Joanna's first husband had dreamed of. He was off fighting the infidels. In his absence, Joanna managed their vast estates. One day, while the count was away, his vassals revolted. Learning that they had taken refuge in the castle of Lucas, Joanna Plantagenet ordered a siege. The strong and determined princess inspired many warriors, but not all were loyal to her. To her astonishment, Joanna discovered that plans were being made against her. She had to flee urgently to Rouen, to her mother. The stress and upheaval took a toll on Joanna, and she soon realized she was pregnant. This brave woman went into premature labor, and barely after giving birth to her child, the princess passed away. Joanna Plantagenet has inspired many writers and filmmakers. Her character can be found in the pages of several books and seen in various films. Each person can imagine her as they see fit. Unfortunately, we will never see her portraits. All we can do is envision what this princess with a lion's heart might have looked like.